I liked Christmas Present because you could tell it was a real big puppet.
It wasn't a recording.
For what?
At all. It hasn't been recorded.
No.
Did you hit the record button?
So, for those of you who don't know, if you've never heard of A Christmas Carol,
Oh no!
fucking,
That was bound to happen one of these times.
I started recording and then I stopped because you went upstairs and I didn't start recording.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what to do. Okay, so what's the 2-minute version of the last 40 minutes?
Oh my God.
okay, the 2-minute version of the last 40 minutes. The songs fucking slap.
Yeah.
Welcome to Late to the Movies.
We're having a crisis. Is it recording now?
Yeah, it's recording now.
Oh God.
So we just did what has to be a Tenacious D tribute level perfect 40 minutes on Muppet's Christmas Carol. We can't remember how it went. We were not recording.
It was the greatest podcast in the world.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'll never have as good of a plot summary as I had. For
It was
this
so
movie.
good.
It was good. Just read it directly from the IMDb
Yeah,
page
just directly
or
from
whatever.
the Disney Plus
The Disney
description.
Plus I did
on
before.
the-
Yeah.
I can't. I don't remember what I said.
I'm super. We're gonna zoom through. Oh fuck. Oh no.
Okay, so I'm Greg. I don't like the
Introduce
Muppets.
ourselves.
Oh,
That's
no.
important to this
It's
podcast.
important to note.
Not a huge Muppet fan. They are. They talk shit on me about.
I noticed it wasn't recording, and you were like making a point. I was like, "Well, this is a good point. I should let him finish." It's like, "Well, what the fuck? Who cares?"
So Michael Caine is great. So it's a Muppet's Christmas Carol.
So this is going to end up being our shortest episode. So suffice to say,
So it's the same as every other Christmas Carol, except they added in Muppets. Michael Caine is Scrooge. He does a good job. They added in songs. They're really good.
it really should be more obvious when you're not recording. Marley.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Late to the Movies. My name's Ben Holt. My name's Ben Holt. This is Late to the Movies. This is a podcast where my friends and I get to talk a lot about the movies that
Alone
some
in a
of us,
room.
alone, that we spent the last 40 minutes talking about Muppet's Christmas Carol. Normally, we talk about a movie that none of us have seen or talked at length before about. And this week, the person who hasn't seen before is Greg. He hates Muppets. Ray and Noah are also here. Hey, guys.
Hey.
So full disclosure, I know part of the thing is you shouldn't have seen it before, shouldn't have talked at length at it before. I have talked at length for about 40 minutes before about this movie one time. About 2 minutes ago.
Guten Tag to Germany, and let's get into it. Oh, man. Yeah, so we did 40 minutes. We got up to Christmas Present.
No,
Which is past halfway through the movie. So strategically, how do you guys want to attack this?
okay. We go back.
Yeah, we'll hit the main points.
We'll hit the main points.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Steven Sondheim. He just died. I saw that right before we started recording. I don't have anything in length to say about that, but we're doing a musical today, so it seems worth mentioning. Aside from that, yeah, I'm happy to just... You know A Christmas Carol. If you're listening to this...
A very brief plot.
Yeah.
It's A Christmas Carol. Michael Caine is Scrooge. He actually does really good. They add in Muppets for comic relief. I didn't think the jokes landed. They add in songs, and they're all great. Besides that, typical Christmas Carol. Scrooge, he is an asshole. Ghosts have to show up to supernaturally terrify him and say, hey, you have to give away some of your money and be less of an asshole, or you're going to go to hell. And he's like, okay, that motivates me. He gives his employee a raise. Probably not much.
There you go.
It's like, yeah, it's a percentage. It's like 2% maybe. Just
Yeah.
normal inflation.
It did not keep
And
up with cost of living.
He paid his mortgage too, right?
He paid his mortgage too. So then, like the next day he's like, I know I said I was going to give you a raise, but like, I was just feeling it, and it was like, I already paid your mortgage too, so like, what do you even have to pay for
Greg and I
now?
were saying that
just
the next day he's gonna come in and be like, "Hey, I'm coming in with my homies here. This is my house. I got the receipt."
He just kicks him out.
You gotta get out.
That's the part you don't see.
Yeah, I paid off your mortgage. It's like, well, you lended the mortgage. I don't know if you paid it off. You just stopped collecting.
Yeah, it's probably his. He probably has the mortgage.
Yeah, I assume he owned the mortgage, but maybe he didn't.
But key one thing we have to go over real important: Gonzo, right?
Oh God, yeah. So Gonzo loves chickens. So Gonzo's an early Muppet, not original Muppet show. But this is
extremely important.
Extremely
This is
important stuff.
extremely important.
His girlfriend's Camilla the chicken, established not too far after Gonzo's joins the Muppet team.
Okay, that's not what I meant. But he's Charles Dickens.
Oh yeah. He's also Charles Dickens.
No, that was like my favorite part. I feel like I that's something I want to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's great. So
Sure.
Gonzo and Rizzo, the rat, are one. Well, Gonzo's Charles Dickens. Rizzo's just sort of there as a Greek chorus. An original thought I didn't say the first time.
He was good. I thought it was.
We all love
I
Rizzo.
thought it was funny. His
Everyone
jokes
loves
hit for
Rizzo.
me.
Rizzo was just a punching bag, so
Yeah, that's
So you more feel bad for Rizzo, is what you're saying?
yeah.
I already said it once. Say it again. I felt like most of the comedy was them kicking the Muppets around. like just beat up
Yeah,
these
that's fair.
puppets.
Yeah, but you already talked about that. So.
One
They
thing
don't
we
know
didn't
that.
talk about is that it is very unsettling when you see the Muppets with legs standing.
It is
That's
weird.
Not right.
Yeah, it's really technically ambitious. They have a lot of
That's
times
one way to say it.
where you're seeing a Muppet, like the entire body of a Muppet, and they're still doing puppetry with it. Normally, Muppet performers are below the frame of the camera, and you just see the top half of the Muppet's body, and you obviously don't
As
see
far
the
as
arm.
puppetry goes, it is impressive.
I can appreciate good puppetry.
Yeah,
but-
we all can.
Seeing Kermit like do that little ice skating thing like with the penguins, I was like, oh no, I'm all right with that. No.
It's a little strange. Yeah, it's a little strange. So Kermit's Cratchit, Michael Caine is Scrooge. Like you said, the framing of Gonzo as Dickens is interesting because it allows them to put a lot of Dickens' specific actual description of things into the text of the movie, which no other adaptation gets to do because Charles Dickens, as a character in the movie, kind of only makes sense with the level of kind of, oh, let's put on a show. Muppets are actors and they're credited as, Kermit playing Cratchit in the opening credits and stuff like that. Only with that kind of level of sort of artifice that the Muppets give you can you really just say Charles Dickens is a character in this one. It wouldn't work if it's just an all live action.
I agree for sure. It only works with this. And I'm a big Muppet hater, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it really improved the movie. And like you said, it lets him use, Charles Dickens' descriptions of things, and they're pretty fire. So
Yeah, he could use a lot of adjectives.
yeah,
No one else.
He knows a lot of adjectives. A lot
He
more. than
knows
I
a
do.
lot of adjectives. We were talking a lot about how good the songs are. The intro of Caine to Gonzo saying he's coming around that corner right now, and then he comes around the corner and everyone tells him how much of a jerk he is.
They just sing about how much of a shithead Scrooge is. He sucks. He won't share any of his money. We hate him.
Wonder why he's so grumpy.
We don't know why he's so grumpy as I sing this to him.
Yeah. So we have a couple establishing scenes of, Scrooge not giving to charity. His nephew Fred's there, but, who cares about Fred?
I have issue with that, honestly.
With what?
What?
I feel like one thing I didn't like about this is I felt like they did Fred a little dirty in this
Oh,
one.
okay, yeah.
Well, we
They
can
did.
get
He
to
is
that
he is
later.
slight. He is not much in this, and then when he is, he's just kind of being a jerk.
Right, yeah, we were very
I
upset
feel like
about
an
that.
important part of Christmas Carol is like that is Fred. I think it's a little less important here because the sister's not in it.
Right.
But like the fact that Fred is always like in Scrooge's corner is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of just messing with him. This is the only scene that Dr. Buns and Honeydew and Beaker are in. Besides, and then again at the end.
I can't remember if this is this before or later? When Kermit and Tiny Tim are walking home. That's Christmas present.
That's Christmas present. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll
gotta
we'll
talk
get to
about
there.
that. That's
Yeah.
good.
We'll get to there. So Scrooge goes home on Christmas Eve. His doorknob turns into either Statler or Waldorf. I didn't mention it the first time because I hate admitting I don't know things. I don't know which one's Statler and which one's Waldorf.
I was gonna say those two Muppets look way too similar. I think you said something like you like how they like switch off who's singing like a duet, and I was like, Yeah, I didn't notice that too much because to me they were just like one person almost.
One's
Yeah.
tall and one's short. One's tall and has gray hair. One's short and fat and has white hair and a mustache.
Yeah, they're both old.
They're both old.
They're different shapes, and one has a mustache, and they have different color hair.
You don't even know which one's which either.
I know one is Statler and one's Waldorf. I don't see him as just like one amalgam blob.
I just Googled it, and apparently people have the same question because it was like suggested to me.
Yeah.
But Waldorf is the one with the pug-like face, mustache, and white.
See, I would have thought that was Statler because he's on the left in this movie.
So he's the one that looks like he has the eyes that got punched.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so it turns into Statler's face, and honestly, he looks more like a Statler, if we're being honest, and the other one looks more like a Waldorf. Turns into Statler's face, and he goes, "Whoa," and Scrooge is all freaked out. It made me scared as a kid. He goes upstairs. He's walking through the dark. You said that you like how Gonzo describes the darkness.
The way he describes the darkness, this whole scene, because it's just Scrooge wandering around the house with his like candle, and Gonzo's like narrating it all, and I feel like Scrooge has nobody to talk to at this part. So if Gonzo's not narrating it, it's just Scrooge wandering around his house being scared. And it just fits a lot better, I think. I did like that.
Yeah, I think so. He makes himself a plate of night cheese, and he
I can respect that.
he retires to his comfortable chair, and that is when Marley and Marley come. And they say,
Marley and Marley. Ooh. Their song slaps. It's
It does.
awesome.
slaps hard.
It's a banger.
Yeah, I'll say again, I was singing that song all
You
day.
don't have to specify every time you're saying something. You already say.
We do, Ben.
I
We do
feel
have to
weird.
say
It
it.
makes me feel bad every time.
No, don't feel bad. I just feel like in normal conversation, I wouldn't just repeat all the things I've recently said. You know what I
I
mean?
just feel a little awkward.
It feels weird. So
Yeah.
I'll stop though.
it's
It's not
okay.
a slight though.
No, you've-
If I was
you've
gonna be
earned the
mean to you,
right.
there's plenty of other ways. I could do way better than that.
Yeah, I know you can. I know you can.
But yeah, love that song. Once again, I feel like they don't mention as much about like their chains and stuff this time. Like the whole concept of like this is all your shit you're gonna have to carry around. They do mention it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of brief because
Yeah.
they'd rather like
Yeah.
spit out this fire song instead.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
I can too. It's better.
Well, like they said, it's nice to be doing anything again, like they said, and so
did say
they just want to get that song out. You're totally right, though. I actually have the same thought. Is that there's a lot more chain information, and the in other adaptations where Marley's talking about like your chain is twice as long or whatever, and all that. kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
They
yeah.
said that at all.
Nope, they didn't. And once again,
They at one point say like, "Oh, you got chains too," but it's like as they're leaving.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have some or
By
something.
the
We see your
way.
chains or something.
Mhm.
And once again, this is like another time where Scrooge, not that he doesn't acknowledge the Muppets, but Michael Caine just plays Scrooge as if it's not weird that these Muppets are showing up, singing, dancing, kind of shooting a couple jokes at him. He's just like, holy
A
shit.
nonplussed, yeah.
He's playing as if Scrooge just saw the ghosts of his business partner, just like he would in a regular version of the Christmas Carol. And he does an awesome job.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a point where I don't know if it's stuff that we said in this episode or the first version.
You'll have to listen to it and just do
Yeah,
it like
yeah,
that.
it'll have to cut it. It'll just be me on like a camera mic being like, and then this cool thing happened we forgot to mention. Just to hit on real quick, Michael Caine playing it completely straight with no wink. That's what he said he was going to do to the director Brian Henson, that it would be as if he was doing it for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and he was very much encouraged. Yes, be completely straight. And I think the movie doesn't hold together at all if there's a lot of jokiness or winking from the Scrooge character.
No,
Yeah,
he
agreed.
does great.
I haven't seen the Jim Carrey mocaps. I almost said Scrooge, but no, the Jim Carrey mocap Christmas Carol. But I would assume it's kind of winky, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think we saw it. We did not enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Caine does not smile.
Nope.
Or chuckle in any way until at least the Ghost of Christmas Present comes, and he still doesn't do it much there either.
Yeah.
And he's just sour the whole time.
Yeah, he's pretty sour. He's embittered. He's
Bah, humbug.
he's a covetous old sinner, like Gonzo / Dickens says. And the Statler and Waldorf joke that I really like is when Scrooge says the actual line from the book, "More of gravy than the grave about you." And they say, oh, it's a terrible pun. Where do you get these? And it's from Dickens. Funny. Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
It was funny.
It was funny. Comedy.
It seems like the biggest thing for you why you don't like it is just you didn't like the comedy.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the comedy is like a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Well,
like,
yeah,
if
that's a
you-
good point.
Like if you're adding
it's a
Muppets,
pretty dark adaptation.
my thought is if I'm adding in, maybe I just don't understand Muppets because, like I said, I don't know much about them. But I assume
They're not real. They can't hurt you.
Oh, that makes this whole.
I think they can. They have a human hand inside of them.
That's true.
He could slap me. But like when I saw Muppets were added in, I assumed it was going to be like a comedy adaptation. Like what? Because what else can they add to it? You know, a little bit of levity was my thought, and I don't know. Like I said, the comedy didn't really land.
Yeah, obviously there's more comedy than just a completely straight one, but it is plot wise plays it pretty straight, and then just has the characters around Scrooge being the comedy part of it. Yeah.
Even though I wasn't thrilled with the comedy, like I said, it didn't really land for me. Not sure if it wasn't my type or if it's because it's almost 30 years old. But I still enjoyed it more than other versions of the Christmas Carol, which I haven't seen a version of a Christmas Carol in a while. I really don't remember much of any other version. They all kind of blend together. But I remember being forced to watch them when I was in school and hating it every time and being like super distracted. And this one I sat down and I like watched it start to finish, and I did like enjoy watching that.
I think the songs probably help too.
I think it was most
Yeah,
of
I
the
agree.
songs. Like I said, they slapped. I've still been singing them. I'll probably sing them for the next 4 days.
I have said I think this is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol. So
Yeah, I would agree with
It's
that.
mine. Yeah, I think it's definitely mine. So after the Marleys go away at the stroke of one, Ghost of Christmas Past comes along, and if I remember from the first time we talked about this, you guys no notes. Perfect design.
It's
right, that is what
flawless.
we said.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
because every time I think of like Christmases and like old Christmases, when I think back to like old Christmases in my family, I picture this weird, flowing, baby-faced light form of disgustingness with this weird little kid's voice. So it just really connects with me. That,
grotesque. I think grotesque is a good word to
It's
describe
horrible.
this thing. Yeah.
and I really didn't know. I was like, is this a puppet? Is this CGI? Is
Yeah.
this literally just some weird nightmare I'm having right now? Like, I don't.
Is this real?
Is this real life right now? I don't know what this is. I don't know what kind of design decision this was.
Everything in the movie's been so tactile, and I always love with Muppets. You can tell, they're puppets. They're felt. You can like look at it
look
and
fuzzy.
see it. They look fuzzy. Yeah, exactly. And that's it's not a nice part of it.
Kind of nice.
It looked almost
Especially
like a
the
porcelain
Ghost of
mask,
Christmas Present.
is what I
Yes.
kept thinking too.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like it looked like a porcelain mask. I thought if it,
It does,
dropped to
yeah.
the floor, it would shatter.
Yes, Ghost of Christmas Past does not have those like fun, comforting qualities that other Muppets do. This is going to shock you guys. I bet you've never heard this before. But when I was growing up, we watched this movie a lot, and that carried over to when I was an adult. A group of friends and I would get together pre-pandemic every year and watch this movie and wrap gifts together and stuff. And we, for the longest time, thought it was CGI until one of us endeavored to actually Google it. Not CGI. It's actually a puppet submerged in, at first, baby oil with a puppeteer working like a rod trigger system to move its mouth. That's how they get. And then later they switched to water because the baby oil tank, I guess, got too hard to clean. I don't know. Yeah, so it is.
I would think they would use water first, but maybe something about oil being like
Yeah, I guess.
slowing it down more.
I think it was like less corrosive, maybe, because of the
okay.
paint and the glue that kept the puppet together. I guess was damaged by the water. So, like I said before, I just picture it slowly decaying as they're filming it.
It's horrible enough.
Yeah, it's horrible enough, and then you get that. Eventually, it's just like a blank face. Creepy, but yeah. So that's why it has that kind of flowing aesthetic, which is fine, but the sort of weird see-through bright light aspect of it, and the with a different voice and a non-porcelain doll face, maybe that effect, because it feels like the effect is mostly for the flowing part of the robes.
Yeah, that has to be why they did the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that doesn't have anything to do with the voice that the actor chose to use, and the fact that it has a creepy doll face.
The creepy doll face is the big problem.
Yeah, the visual aspect.
If they
of
changed
it.
that,
Right,
I
yeah.
could get the rest.
If it just looked like a normal Muppet,
yes,
you know.
just even if it was a little creepy but felt, I would feel so much better about it.
So she Peter Pan's out the window with Scrooge, Gonzo, and Rizzo hold on to a string, I guess, from
Like
his
a rope
bedclothes or something. They hit
He
a bunch
does
of
not
chimneys on
acknowledge
the way.
them.
No, he doesn't
Not at all.
acknowledge them. They hit a bunch of trees on their way to the past, and then they land at his old school. And Sam Eagle's the headmaster. He gets off some good jokes.
One of the only jokes I laughed at. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got some good ones. I did like that the pass was short because then I didn't have to see the ghost as much.
That's fair.
No,
Yeah, and
that's
the ghost
great.
kind of just disappears at the end after the song that gets cut. So just to get through it. Yeah, that's what you want to hear 11 minutes into a podcast, just to get through it.
Yeah.
You guys don't know what we've been through.
You don't know what we've been through. We're at,
Yeah, I
we're at an hour, basically.
I know what we're getting into, but
Mhm.
we noticed right away that Belle was not in this much. And the reason we actually noticed that was as soon as we started this up, we're talking about A Christmas Carol, how you have to go see the play in school or watch the movie or something at probably multiple points. I don't remember how many times, but I saw it multiple times. And Ray mentioned that she had to put on a play for A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I was in the Christmas Carol in middle school when I played Belle.
And she was like, I played Belle. And I was like, that's a pretty big role. And she was like, I wouldn't say it's big. And then Belle shows up in the past, looks at Scrooge. She's like, hi, I'm Belle. Introduces herself. Next scene, Scrooge is like, yeah, we're not getting married yet. And she goes, you don't love me. It's over. And the past is over. And I went, huh, okay, yeah, never
Yeah,
mind.
not a big role.
Your role wasn't as good as I thought. You suck.
Limited lines.
Limited lines, yeah. So the big thing about the big difference between the theatrical release of the movie and including the version that's on Disney Plus right now is that there's the song from Belle. It's the I think the longest song in the movie, or would have been if it had stayed in. It's almost 4 minutes long, and she sings about her and Scrooge and their relationship and her disappointment. And the name of the song is "The Love Is Gone." It gets cut out because Disney feels like it's too depressing for kids.
Are there Muppets going around during this?
No, it's
just
really just
her.
her. Yeah.
Huh.
And she gives the last line while standing in front of current like ghost projection Scrooge of like, goodbye. And she holds it for a really long time. And then she walks away and Scrooge and the Muppets that are there, which is just, I think just Gonzo and Rizzo, are just sobbing. And in the movie, as you see it today, she sits down next to him and, like you said, basically says, "Oh, you don't love me anymore. Bye." And then it cuts to the shot of her walking by all the Muppets and current Michael Caine Scrooge sobbing. And the way it plays is like that escalated quickly, but they were already weeping apparently, like on cue. And it's just sort of tonally weird. Something that audiences noticed at the time, like, wow, that really accelerated. And then that's pretty much it. The ghost's gone. They go to Christmas Present.
Didn't even notice.
I think you would have enjoyed the song. In it.
Now I'm curious though, because like I said, every song in this movie was fire. There was one that was like didn't super land for me. So now I'm wondering, like, is this song fire? But
It's not fire, but
I was gonna say I feel like it's not gonna be as good because I feel like I need a lot of people. Like all the other songs is like 15 Muppets singing them, and I feel like that kind of makes
it's not like a musical. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like a
Yeah, it's a ballad.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
but
I can deal with that.
It fits in really well, and they should have kept
yeah.
it in.
I'd have to see it, but I could see why you wouldn't want a 4-minute Muppet list ballad in your movie.
Yeah, but that just goes back to Brian Henson and the Muppeteers and the Henson Company thought they were, and I agree. They primarily were like, we just want to make like a good movie. It doesn't just have to be, bright colors and Muppets dancing and crap. They've thought like, yeah, we just can have an emotional through line that actually is affecting. And that's why they wanted that performance that Michael Caine gave too.
Yeah, I think that's why I like this movie, honestly, because I'm not a big fan of the Muppets, but I feel like the Muppets don't matter. Like, it's just like it's a Christmas Carol. It's just a solid version of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's I think the only Michael Caine stars in it. It was at the time the first Muppet movie to not star Kermit, and it doesn't even star a different Muppet. It stars Michael Caine. who is like not like exactly like a buzzy thing that like kids are going to be like, oh yeah, Michael Caine's in this movie. So
Michael Caine, who 30 years ago was playing a very old man.
yeah,
We were also trying to figure out, like, oh, has he been in stuff recently? I'm like, no, he's definitely still acting. And I was like, I was like, Tenet. And Ray was like, he was in that? And I went, I don't know. I think Christopher Nolan directed it, so probably.
That's fair. One thing I did actually forget to mention this time, so we're improving by me mentioning it this time around. That song, "The Love Is Gone," is reprised at the end of the movie. The last song they sing is them all gathered around the Cratchit's table singing "The Love We Found" to the tune of "The Love Is Gone." Except you never had the setup, so all of a sudden everyone's just saying "The love we found."
Okay.
And it's like, well,
okay.
this doesn't relate to anything in the movie. So that's in,
That's a connection.
They found love, so
yeah, but
Yeah.
We were okay with it. It was
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy.
yeah.
yeah, but
But
that's
I feel like
just
that would have
like,
been more satisfying.
It would have been more satisfying.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just like a 25-second song where they just say "The love we
Yeah.
found" a bunch of times, which makes a lot more sense if you had the other song expressing the opposite, but it's the same tune earlier in the movie. you know? But that's getting way ahead of ourselves. So we got to talk about Fozziwig. It is Rubber Chicken Factory. Great joke.
That like is, I think, the only time we noticed that the Michael Caine Scrooge has a line that does not sound like it's right out of the book. And it's, I forget exactly the word for it, but he's like, it's Fozziwig's old rubber chicken factory. And we were like, that is not what he says in the book. Because we were looking to see if he'd say something that we're like, oh, this isn't in the book. I'm going to be honest. I haven't read A Christmas Carol, but I don't think that was in the book.
Probably not.
He just delivers it so straight. It's so good.
Yeah, he's not funny about it. He's just like surprised to see that he's here in the past.
Yeah.
What is it usually?
I assume it's whatever he ends up doing, right? He's like
Money lending.
or
It's got to be something like
Oh,
that.
accounts or
yeah.
whatever,
That's
but-
right, because he was an apprentice there.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but Fezziwig in the story is like a nice guy that people like,
Yes.
as is Fozziwig in Muppet's Christmas Carol. This is the scene where you get Dr. Teeth in the Electric Mayhem. You got Animal on drums. He was trying to keep it, but he can't restrain himself. And then they start playing an upbeat thing. And this is one of the more impressive scenes to me in the movie because you have Muppets intermingling with human actors and there's just so many characters in the scene. And, just one of the ones that's just really impressive to me.
It was always interesting to me in this movie. I wondered a lot of times how they chose when to have Muppets and when to have humans, because I did notice that they have a mix of both in the backgrounds. It seems like, at least in the beginning scenes, that it is mostly Muppets, but every now and then there's just people mingling with them. And I was like, like who is like responsible? Like, we need to figure out what we want for a ratio of humans to Muppets as the background cast.
Yeah, and it's something they need to think about so far in advance because they need to actually build the sets differently if there's Muppets in them versus just humans, which,
Nah, the street vendor needs to be a weird pig.
he does.
The whole vision of this film is lost if this street vendor is a human instead of this weird pig.
You don't get what I'm going for.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that some of the Muppets too were like, there was such like a range of Muppets. Like there was some that looked very much like the animals. There was one that was like a dog that looked like a dog, but there's also ones that are like these weird, like just straight up monsters or like
Yes.
witches or I don't know.
I saw one that was like, I swore was a witch.
yeah, I
Sure,
saw that
We were
one.
really upset because it was one that was exactly
there.
a perfect horse, but then it spoke. And that just opened up a whole can of worms of Muppet questions.
We have a
about,
lot of questions about the Muppet
Yeah.
universe and how it
like,
functions.
is this person treated as like a human,
a
or
horse.
do they have to like live in a stable? Like,
It's a horse.
Yeah, but it speaks and has like thoughts and like,
Right,
No,
it's a
it's
horse,
a-
though.
So it's treated as a horse. Like, other Muppets can ride it.
So it's kind of like, Mickey's best friend is Goofy, but he also owns a dog.
that's upsetting too. Though.
Yes, that's like equally upsetting.
Yeah.
though.
It's the same
People
kind of
don't
thing.
like that.
You
yeah.
haven't made me feel better.
No, I'm just saying it's a similar kind of thing because Ralph the dog plays piano. He's in the band. And then there's also Muppets that are explicitly dogs that are just dogs.
Yeah, it's not good.
Whereas Ralph has like a personality and stuff. And I don't think we mentioned it on this go round. Ralph was considered like the first sort of Henson creation to be a fully formed real Muppet kind of character. He doesn't have any lines in this, but he does make an appearance because the movie being the first Muppet production after Jim Henson's death, they wanted to, there's plenty of homages and shout outs to Jim Henson, obviously in any Henson production, but that, the inclusion of Ralph, even though he doesn't have any lines, is one of them for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of go with it. It's a suspension of disbelief, right? Some of these are animals. Some of these are
It's not that I
characters.
have disbelief. I understand because it's just Muppets, but it just brings up a lot of questions. Is all.
Yeah.
We also had a lot of questions about in this Muppet world, are the humans racist towards the Muppets or vice versa?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they would be.
It's hard to tell because it doesn't seem like it in this film, but it's hard to tell because Scrooge hates everybody. So
And there were some rich Muppets and some poor Muppets.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
didn't even know
Well, they do.
I
They do have a class system.
There's
right?
a Muppet. Right after Scrooge refuses to donate his money in that scene that's in every Christmas Carol, the people come,
Yeah.
oh, we're taking donations, for the poor and the hungry at this time of year. And he's yelling about, well, aren't there poorhouses and jails for them?
I pay taxes.
Yeah, I pay taxes. They can just die if they're not going to one of those places.
Decrease the surplus population.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as they leave, like Bob Cratchit and all the weird rat employees that I really didn't enjoy leave, there's a Muppet freezing to death in a gutter.
Oh, the rabbit that he turned.
Yeah, Bean
that
Bunny.
He initially turned away and threw
Yeah.
He threw the wreath at him.
Yeah.
That's Bean Bunny.
He's legit like they have him freezing to death in a gutter. And I'm like, whoa, this is a bit like harsh.
He should have had a song.
He tried.
He gets to come.
He did try.
He tried, yeah.
He's the one he went. He knocked on the door. He starts.
Ended his-
to sing.
About to
Great,
end this
didn't
man's whole
And he
career.
chucks the wreath out. That I laughed at that part. I'm not gonna pretend I did. Especially too because Fred had just hung that wreath on his door as in like kind of an insulting manner, like, aha, I know you hate Christmas. I'm giving you a wreath. And then this guy's on his door trying to sing all the songs have slapped so far. This guy goes to drop a banger. Scrooge just wipes him out.
Well, he initially just shuts the door too, and then he goes to leave. Then he's like, "Nah, wait a minute, hold on." He grabs the wreath, opens the door back up,
And the guy's so excited.
and just
He's
whips
like,
it.
oh.
And then the next time we see this guy, it's like, oh, Scrooge didn't help him out when he needed a little bit of money. He's literally dying right
Yeah.
now in this gutter. I'm like, oh my God.
But he doesn't die because he's back at the end. He's
Is he?
Yeah. He's the kid that goes and gets the turkey twice as
right.
big as only twice as big as him wouldn't be that big of a
No, it's like that's what we had for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
right, yeah. Bean Bunny, the star of the Muppet Vision 3D at Disney's Hollywood Studios. There you go. So he's got some good credits.
See, his career
His career took off.
He's doing fine now.
Yeah, okay. Whew. I feel better. Talk about the present.
Yeah, so
I feel like normally I don't like to talk about movies in order, but I feel like with a Christmas Carol, it's
Christmas-
so
yeah,
nicely
it's
broken
got a
into
nice
like
structure.
chapters.
Yeah,
it's
got a nice
such
structure.
big chunks.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a book.
Yeah, it's not like it's a book with a very specific and structural. Then we got Christmas Present. He's a cool puppet. We talked
awesome.
a lot about
Yeah,
it.
we all
Already.
like it.
I love this puppet.
It's such a cool
I
puppet.
love this puppet as much as I hate that other puppet.
Yes. So
He's a
gi-
big
He's
puppet. I have
giant.
a lot
So
of
is there
respect for
someone's
big
in
puppets.
him, right?
So someone's in him, but then at the same time, I don't know why I said it like it's like a horror story. Unbeknownst to the person inside, at the same time,
Oh no!
Jerry Nelson, the Muppet puppeteer, is controlling his facial expression and movement from afar, not like in a creepy way. But there's a guy inside it doing the physicality of it, while Jerry Nelson is doing the voice and doing the mouth movement, eye movement, eyebrows, facial expressions. It's basically the guy inside is wearing a big robot head, so I'm not really sure where he could see out because the physicality is good too. He's not just in there to hold the head up.
He moves a lot.
Yeah, he moves a lot.
He has a lot of points of motion. I think that's what makes him so cool.
Yeah, he
He's
feels
so
like
big.
really real. It's everything that you don't get from the Ghost of Christmas Past. There's times where he's like making a point. He like puts a hand on Scrooge's shoulder.
Yeah.
And
His
it's-
whole
Very like
song that he does, which once again slaps. That's might be my favorite song.
yeah,
I don't know.
it feels
There's a
like
couple
Christmas.
that are
I
like
don't know
real
what the
good.
title is, but-
Yeah, and because he's like dancing around and like gathering people up into like putting his arms around him, and he's moving around a lot, and he's doing a lot of things, and everyone else is moving around a lot. There's lots of Muppets in this scene. I think there's a lot of people too, and they're all doing things except for Scrooge, who stands there totally still, just pissed off for 90% of that song. Until the end, where he finally like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I can be.
This is a sick
Shimmies
beat,
a little
actually.
bit.
Yeah, this
So he's starting to get
yeah.
This song does slap.
This song just like, I was thinking about throwing a wreath at this guy, but instead, I'll wiggle around a little bit. I'll smile almost.
Yeah, I like that when Scrooge gets here, he's just so happy not to be, in his own past anymore. That he's like willing to crack some jokes with the guy.
That's the
Yeah.
first time he like smiles in the whole movie is when
Yeah.
he first sees him and they have their little banter back and
Yeah,
forth.
and he says like, "Oh, I've had 1,900 brothers and sisters," and Scrooge goes, "Oh, it's a big grocery bill."
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Like, ah,
And
Scrooge
Scrooge
can have
says
fun.
something about like, let's see my family. Like he's like actually kind of excited to
I
be
want
there.
to see family.
Yeah.
It's like, Scrooge, come on, bruh.
yeah.
And so that's when we go to Fred's Christmas game with, again, just very normal people in attendance.
Greg and I
This-
have a problem with this scene. A lot of problems.
I have
with
a
this
lot
scene,
of problems with
actually.
this scene.
Was it the
Multiple
Yeah, get it.
problems.
What?
Huh?
Was it the Frogman?
Yes, that's one of them.
Is it a
He
frog?
was-
It literally
he
looked like
was
a pile of garbage.
He was terrifying.
That was actually like one of Greg's like first notes. It was just, what is that thing on the couch?
Yeah, it was literally like my first note was, what the fuck is the thing on Fred's couch? You can't tell if it's like a cross between a frog and a pile of garbage. It looked like whatever it is crawled out of a dumpster.
It was
really
related
terrible.
to
Like a
the
sludge.
ghost of Christmas Past.
It must have been, yeah.
The dark version, the sludge version.
Yeah, they live in the same.
I don't know what it
same
was.
space.
It's the dark shadow of the Ghost of Christmas Past.
It was creepy.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
like, what
particularly
is it? And it's just
bad.
on his couch. And the other things on his couch are like normal pigs or something. I was like, okay, yeah, pig Muppets.
Yeah.
And then they
And
look
people.
across from him.
Yeah.
There's another like old dog with a mustache. I thought was pretty cute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
But yeah, it just goes to show you the wide range of Muppets that are available in this production.
And he's just like kind of in the background, which is even scarier.
Yeah,
You know,
just
like they're just like this
around.
thing exists here.
So
yeah.
I honestly did have a problem with this scene. And
That's
I
the
didn't
one.
like that.
One.
You found him? I
Yeah.
don't-
Greg doesn't even want to look at him.
No.
Can you describe this to a police like sketch artist?
So one's like an old frog man.
He needs more details.
Maybe like a kappa, from Japanese folklore.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's what they were going for, but that's kind of. And then it seems like perhaps his wife is also some kind of horrible frog lady.
Jim
Yes.
Henson was having a bad day when he created this.
There are multiple frogs in this movie that don't look like these people. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're actually supposed to be frogs.
I know,
No.
that's what I was
Kermit's
saying.
a way
frogs.
better looking frog.
Yeah, Kermit's hot.
They have to be a monster.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Kermit, his design, one of the things we talked about is like ever since they made a frog after Kermit, they've realized their mistake with Kermit's eyeballs. And they're like, ooh, it was a mistake to give him frog eyes. None of the other frogs are going to have eyes like that.
I was
Bad
thinking.
call.
Yeah, Robin doesn't, right? Who plays Tiny Tim.
yeah. None of the two frog sons do not. They
I
have
was
normal
thinking
eyeballs.
maybe he's not the father.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I had that thought.
Greg and I
Plot
were also kind
twist.
of relieved that they were like, split half and half frogs and pigs and not like hybrid
That's
frog pig
also something I was
monsters.
gonna bring up.
Yeah, all the girls are.
Well, let's save
pigs.
that to the end, guys.
Okay.
They must have been
yeah.
relieved.
We'll have time to discuss that.
Yeah, we
Anyway.
have time.
Oof.
Sorry.
Big
Oh,
oof.
but so the scene
So
at
Ghost of
Fred's.
Christmas Past.
Wait, the scene at Fred's though, because it did. I did have
Let's go back to
they
Fred's.
play 20 questions essentially.
They do, but they change it from the other Christmas carols I've seen, and I don't know how it is in the book. But in this one, they make Fred a dick. They make it. Normally, what happens is Fred is playing 20 questions, and
Isn't it someone else that does the prompts?
his wife
Right. Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
know the answer,
That's
so
what it is.
says like Scrooge as a joke to like almost like to deflect. Like, oh, I don't know. This is kind of funny, and he says like, oh, that's not funny. Scrooge like, basically along the lines of like he's troubled. Like
We should pity him.
we should pity him. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
you know what I mean? We should like hope he gets saved, kind of thing. And in this one, he's just like being an asshole, and he makes Scrooge, like, he describes him as he's an unwanted creature. And it's like Scrooge sees this, and I'm like, oh, it's
And then
kind of
everyone laughs
cruel.
about it.
Yeah, and everyone laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does it very smirkingly too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
he's like a
cool.
real dick about it. And I feel like a big part normally is that I like that there's, even though Scrooge is a huge asshole, and he's a huge asshole to Fred normally, Fred is still like there for him. Like, you know what I mean?
He's like, yeah, I think like even in some of the original ones, he's like, when you're ready, Uncle, like come have Christmas dinner with us. Like,
Yeah, he knows,
Yeah.
he's like there to be like, I know you can turn this around, and I'm here for when you're
Yeah.
ready, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's
And that's why I didn't like that
Very
they changed that.
yeah, I was kind of upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't ruin the movie for me or anything.
I think
The
I was
Muppets did
already
that.
upset because of the weird frog guy on the couch, but like
That didn't help.
that set the tone.
And I do like the kind of the sort of tonal thing of he goes from Ghost of Christmas Past, and then he's like, oh, just like a normal, just cool dude who's gonna sing me a fun song.
Yeah.
Show me some family, and then he immediately realizes like, oh no, this guy's just gonna mess with me too.
Yeah, this guy-
He's just gonna show me terrible things about how bad I am again.
And he doesn't. This continues too to the next Ghost too. But
Yeah,
we'll,
well,
we'll
we
get
have
to the
we got
next
the
Ghost.
Cratchit scene first.
Yeah, this is
which I believe is swapped from the actual thing. I think you get Cratchit's and then Fred's house normally, but we do Fred's house first and then go to Cratchit's. And awesome looking street. Everything's like really angly and cramped looking. This version of London in the. I guess this is supposed to be basically, when Dickens sets it. It's not like time shifted or anything. And you get, the scene in Cratchit's. Gonzo and Rizzo are on the roof. They get inside. Rizzo falls on top of a goose. Later says like, oh, I fell on a flaming hot goose. And Gonzo says, you have all the fun.
Which we get now.
Which
Which
we
we
all get.
chickens.
now that
Everyone
you
gets it.
now that you explain that Gonzo likes chickens, I realized that the reason I didn't find it funny was all the jokes are actually weird puns about Gonzo having sex with chickens. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now
I
the
don't
movie's
know.
It's
hilarious.
hilarious.
I don't know if they're like intimate, but he just his girlfrient's Camilla the chicken. So
You don't know where they're at in their relationship.
yeah, we don't know
though,
where
so
they're at.
Mm.
you know what I mean.
They've
He
been
could be
together
saving
60
himself.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
For the right bird.
For the right bird. There's a moment outside when he says, this is Bob Cratchit's house. The ghost says to Scrooge, and Scrooge's like, this is Bob Cratchit's house? And the ghost's like, if you say so. And then Scrooge says, no, that's what you just told me. And then he does like this really interesting reading of I'm usually trustworthy, and kind of gives like a little dip. It's like I don't know why he has such a flouncy secret. I don't know. It just struck me this time as like, wow, he's put a little zhuzh on it.
Yeah.
I dig it. But yeah, this is about 53 minutes in, our first scene with Miss Piggy in it. I was watching in preparation for this podcast recording a like behind the scenes sort of featurette that seems like it was advertising that came out when they were trying to promote the movie. And they interview a lot of the Muppets about the movie, and it's Miss Piggy like really passive aggressively implying that she should have had a bigger part. And yeah, so it's
That
53
sounds
minutes
big.
in, and here's her first scene. So yeah.
Good. She sucks.
She's
So
cool.
repeatedly getting ready to do this. Anytime we talk about it, Greg refers to, yeah, there's that character who's like, she's like a pig or something.
Pig, right? Or
Yeah, and it's like she's so close, and I
And
know
then,
it's
Miss
like
Pig-
her name is Miss Piggy, and you know this.
I really could not remember. She just sucks. Why? She's not memorable. The pig, Miss Pig, something.
It's just
Whatever. She's a
Is this when we see Bob and Tiny Tim coming home and they are
Yes.
singing?
Yeah, no,
Great
you're totally
scene.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do a little a cappella thing with Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit's doing some
Sort of
beatboxing.
beatboxing
He is,
in the
yeah,
back.
great.
It's really good. But once again, we see Kermit's legs. They showed the Muppets' legs a couple times in this. Don't love it.
So extremely ambitious scene. I agree. I don't love it. Yeah, I do love
It's
it,
just
like you said.
It's just weird looking.
Yes.
I don't want to see the legs.
So you see Kermit and his legs as he's walking with Tiny Tim Robin on his shoulder, and the ground beneath them is moving and the houses are moving in the background. And you just see both of them, their entire bodies, and they're moving and singing and being puppeted and stuff. Yeah.
And technically, it's good puppetry work, but it doesn't make his legs any less creepy looking.
Yeah.
Well, he's got frog legs. What do you want? He's got frog legs. So this is
Their little song slaps though.
How
Once
many-
again,
Their song
it's
is
not
so
even like
great.
it's
I
not even a real
love it.
song, is it? It's like
No, it's
20
just
seconds.
it's not long, but it's because tis the season to be
medley.
Yeah, just
So
a little
good.
medley, and it's very great, enjoyable.
It's really cool, yeah, as he's coming through. So you get, that scene. Oh, real quick though, 10 puppeteers involved in making that scene. There's a rotating drum under them that's covered in snow, and they're in front of a blue screen. So they do. The ground there is actually just like a spinning barrel that has fake snow on it. And yeah, so there's 10 people involved in making that scene happen. And that's, I guess, why it's so short, why it's only like a 25-second long song. Yeah.
Man, I wish I was a puppeteer.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem fun. It
No, you
seems-
definitely overwork.
doesn't seem fun. I nothing against it. It just seems like,
You can have back problems. They have you crammed in all these weird spaces constantly, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly.
No, something about puppets. I'm always just like, yes.
But that scene, that's just a pretty typical Christmas Carol scene, right? It just
Yeah, he comes in and he's
Not the little
does
song.
No, well, I mean, after that.
yeah,
Love the
Tim.
song.
Yeah, Tiny Tim has a song, the Blesses All Everyone song,
Yeah.
and that also considered perhaps too depressing for kids. You don't normally see in a lot of adaptations just how sick Tiny Tim is. This Tiny Tim is sick as hell.
What does he have? He has rickets or something?
I don't know.
It seems like
I did write, this is one of my notes. I said, pretty fucked up that all Tiny Tim needed was more food. Because he didn't die at the end, because he just needed more money to get
yeah,
food.
like it's
Oh,
not like they
yeah.
were like, we need
He's just
money to buy
malnourished.
Tiny Tim's medicine. It's just like Scrooge just like, here's money so you don't have to worry about fucking food anymore. And they're like, oh wow, that's all Tiny Tim needed. He just fuck who knew
doesn't
kids
die.
need to eat?
That's
I
why
think
he's
it's-
tiny. He just doesn't get enough.
Yeah, I assume they can't. Yeah, they probably can't afford a doctor, so he probably gives them, enough money to they can get to a doctor or two and help him with that. But maybe it is just malnutrition.
I think it's just malnutrition.
It's because his mom eats all the chestnuts.
This is fucked up.
Did you save me any chestnuts, Mom?
No.
That fucking Miss Pig. She sucks.
Oh man. Okay, so
I forgot about that scene.
Her kid's literally starving to death. She looks so funny.
it does make it. Yeah, if it's just a food thing, then they should be, rationing it a bit better.
Probably.
But yeah, pretty typical Christmas Carol scene. Bob wants to thank Scrooge for the meal, and his wife's like, "No, fuck Scrooge. You tell me how much he sucks." And Scrooge is literally watching in the window.
Yeah, it's
And his employee's wife is yelling at the employee about how much Scrooge sucks, and the employee's like, "Well, we should thank him anyway. We're barely alive, but we would be dead." It's a little bit better than being dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love how she's listing off the reasons he's terrible, and the girls are going like meow after everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And then the one that they were like, oh, to is that he's poorly dressed.
Yes.
Yep. And Michael Caine's just watching the whole thing.
Yeah. And then I think this is one of many times he's like, please don't show me anymore. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I get it. I totally get it.
This is enough of this.
Yeah. And that's you get his mind state when he eventually gets to the third ghost. He's just like, no, I get it already. We can, you don't have to do it.
He finally shows some compassion towards Tiny Tim, though.
Yeah.
That was the first time he shows any of that.
Yeah, right in that scene too. Like as soon as he sees what's going on with Tiny Tim, he's like, "Oh, this is fucked up."
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like, sure, it's easy to say something horrible when you don't actually know who it's affecting. And then you act like he's like, yeah, whatever, all the poor people can die. And he's like, oh, wait, but this is like a poor person that I said I wanted to die.
Oh,
Well, yeah, and this is again why Ghost of Christmas Present is the best, because he's at this point they do that cool thing where he's got a lot of gray in his hair now, and
He fucking dies.
he does die. Scrooge asks him, "Tell me, what'll happen to Tiny Tim," and he says, "Well, I can't see the future, but I see, he's gonna die basically."
I can't see the future, but actually I can.
And then he says, "But hey, if he's gonna die, he might as well just die and decrease the surplus population."
Ooh,
Oh, I am happy
yeah.
that in this version he didn't have the creepy kids underneath his robe. That was
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing we were talking about.
Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That would not have been as
Well,
nice.
I'm always happy when
They just opens up the robe and just shows the puppeteer under there.
That would have been awesome, actually.
just like a really sweaty guy, just like holds up the head.
Take them away, spirit. This is Mark.
Awesome.
It's a small wave.
It's a small wave, yeah.
Show me no more.
Please speak comfort to me. So
Poor
Dude,
Mark.
what the fuck? I don't look that bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the spirit's like, all right, one more stop. He brings Scrooge to the graveyard, and he's completely like all white now, hair and beard wise. The spirit is, and he does a special effect that holds up perfectly well, where he turns into all sparkles, and
Sparkly Christmas.
At least
Yes.
he didn't just like drop dead because I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, is
He
this-
did fucking die though, and
Yeah.
like I
yeah,
guess
he's
I like
cool with it. He knows.
I know
knows
he's
the-
cool
he
with
knows
it,
the
but I was
deal.
like, wow, this is first the bunny's dying in the gutter. Now fucking Christmas is dead.
They killed Christmas.
And this is when I think like you're like, okay, Michael Caine's been doing a good job the whole time, but like now it's just him, and we're just gonna have him be a really good actor from this point on. Basically, from when it's clear the spirit's dying, the clock starts striking. It's like this is actually sort of, an affecting kind of thing where you're feeling sort of the desperation of Scrooge, and stuff is kind of building up, and he's like really frantically trying to be like, oh, come on, you can't go now. I got like so much more to show me and stuff. And then he's like, nope, you gotta go to the Grim Reaper, dude. It's time for that stuff. This is great. Gonzo and Rizzo explicitly say like, this is too scary for us. We'll see you at the finale.
I really like that, honestly, because Gonzo Dickens drops a few lines of narration about like what's happening, and then they give their excuse to leave, and I feel like that was good because I felt like Gonzo as Charles Dickens really just like enhanced the whole movie, but I feel like he shouldn't have been in this
Yeah.
part. So it's real nice that they found a little thing. They're like, oh, I don't want to see this. This is horrible. We're gonna leave, because I felt like he really couldn't. This part wouldn't have worked if he was making jokes and kicking the rat around.
Yeah. It would have been kind of funny, but
Yeah, justice for Rizzo. I agree. I think all he has is like a pretty bad pizza place named after him in Hollywood studios, and that's like all Rizzo has these days. Then we get Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. What do you guys think about Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come?
Honestly, not a huge fan of this puppet.
Okay,
I like that it's big, but I felt
I
like
like that it's big too.
there's something off on its like proportions. Like I felt like it looks like it's only the top half of a puppet. Like its legs are missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it doesn't show you its legs. It's wearing like long, flowy robes. But
Well, I mean, like
I like how kind of elongated its kind of shoulders up area is.
Yeah, I feel like where it ends, like where its feet are, really feels like where its waist should be. Like I feel like its proportion, something was not right and didn't sit with me, and I was like, I don't know. Like it was too wide down the bottom, maybe.
Maybe.
don't know.
I
There's
like
something
it. I mean, it is
off-putting.
off-putting. It's definitely
Too
off-putting,
thick,
but I
yeah.
like that part of it.
he's too thick.
He's too thick.
He's dummy
Too
thick.
many C's.
Like 4 C's.
It's like 4.
I think it should have been the trash frogman. It was a lot
That would
scarier.
have been much
Yeah.
scarier.
Yeah.
That's the vibe we're looking for.
I
Yeah.
feel bad. That guy, he's just going to a party and he's catching strays like fucking Scrooge looking in the window.
I
He's
thought
just
the
like, I'm out with
spirit-
my wife. It's Christmas. Having a good time. And he's like, you look like a fucking monster.
I thought the spirit was fine. I just thought it could have been more creative. I feel like it's kind of just like all the other ones that we've seen of, other adaptations.
I think you get to this point, and
that's
they,
true.
Nothing special.
It's fine. Yeah.
yeah.
It's what you expect.
I tend to like its weird sort of stretch proportions. I like the kind of material that it looks like. It feels very tactile.
I think it.
The kind of like it's sort of like a dyed gray thing. So parts of it you can really see the wrinkles in it and stuff.
just like it comes right after Christmas Present, which is a wicked cool puppet.
Yeah,
It's got fucking
our best
50
friend.
Yeah, 50 points of movement on it, and this guy has a little stick arm that moves. You know what I mean? I could have piloted this
got
one.
those big fingers though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could have
that's-
piloted this puppet.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's pretty common that Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come doesn't speak and is just sort of
yeah,
ominous and pointing.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect him to speak. I would have been like, I felt like it would have taken a lot away. I feel like that's important. He doesn't speak.
Yeah, it would have been weird.
One thing, and like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Christmas carols, not in a while. Is Scrooge this fucking dense in every version of it? Because like, even in the present, like after all the horrible stuff the past shows him, the present shows up and he thinks like, oh, the present's just gonna show me nice things.
Yeah.
Like when he's at Fred's house, oh wow, this is just great stuff. And he's like,
I think
wait,
he pretty much gets it right away. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, that's
like-
not what we're here for.
oh, that's not what we're here for. And then this one comes and he shows these people who are like, yeah, that old guy we all hate died.
Yeah,
We stole
Kamaji,
his
the boiler
stuff.
man selling all his stuff away.
Yeah, the boiler, Commodity the boiler man selling his stuff. And Scrooge's like, wow, this old guy that died that everyone hated had like all the same cool stuff as me. I understand what you're telling me. If I don't change, I could be like whoever that random guy is.
Well, I mean, he says like, no, I know, but he doesn't want to believe it that it's him, right? 'Cause-
That's like the very last scene in
well,
the past.
I think he's playing it like the whole time. He knows it's about him, but he's just
Can't
kind of
bring
like,
himself to
I really
accept.
don't want this to be about me. This is
Yeah.
terrible.
No,
this is
he's
bleak.
because the next thing too, they're going to the Cratchits and he's like, "Oh, thank you, Cratchits on Christmas. This will make me feel better after the last thing you showed me because it's always so happy here."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why is Tiny Tim dead?" As if the last ghost didn't just tell you Tiny Tim was gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. He has to keep pointing because he's like, "Wow, I thought I'd only have to show this guy one fucking scene, but he's
got
so
so
dense.
much.
I gotta go.
How
I'm gonna
much
have
do
to,
you want
it's
me to
gonna take
show
all
you
night.
your literal dead body?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to point at his little dead body for this guy to get
I
me.
mean, eventually, yeah.
He's just that guy from is it like TikTok? That guy that just points out the obvious of what you should be doing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that guy. That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go to Cratchit's and you have, Bob come back in and talk to Emily, but it's Kermit comes back in and talks to Miss Piggy about, you would have liked it. They're obviously talking about picking a spot for Tiny Tim's grave.
That scene hits hard, even though
yeah,
these are fucking
Yeah, it does.
weird ass
Yeah.
puppets.
Again, no wink. No wink.
no
in this
wink.
section.
No. Yeah.
Kermit playing it to the fucking vest. He plays it all serious too.
Yeah. It does. It still hits real hard. Like you do feel real shitty, even though it's fucking obviously a puppeteered frog talking to his fucking puppeteered
Kermit's just
pig
so
wife.
wholesome. You know.
He is.
He is.
wholesome.
I just want to hug Kermit every time I see him in this movie.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Hmm.
Great frog.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
like
he
choking
tries-
up,
he tries
trying
his
to
best.
say where he's burying Tiny Tim and stuff. And I'm like, oh man,
Yet another part that the Disney was like, you sure? I mean, it's a kid's movie. You want to?
he
You
can't
sure
even like
about
finish the sentences. He's all like choked up, and fucking Miss Pig has to help him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how you felt with Tony.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I held back, but this is that.
Yeah. It was you weren't on the Silence of the Lambs episode, but we're close personal friends with Tony Hopkins, so we just call him Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Hops.
Yeah,
Tony
Hop.
Hops.
Tony
Oh,
Hop.
okay.
T-Hops.
Yeah.
T-Hops. Yeah.
Very
got
much
you.
upsets me.
Yeah, Ray.
I'm very
it's-
distressed.
We got the name from Ray. She said it was cool.
Oh, good. Since he's cool with it.
Yeah. So yeah, Miss Piggy is there too. Yeah. So then they basically leave. He brings them back to the graveyard and points at a grave, and Scrooge is like, I don't want to. And this is when he goes into his Michael Caine crying voice, oft parodied, real nasally, real breaking up his voice. I think in the trip, which maybe the Italy trip, they say it's basically like he's yodeling when he's about to cry. So yeah, he's but again, in this, it's actually like a really affecting performance.
It's great. Michael Caine is
Yeah.
excellent throughout
Yeah,
this whole
he was-
thing.
He's really
he's
good.
so good.
It's like unbelievable too, because most of the stuff is happening in front of him. This isn't like, if this was today, you might be like, oh well, he acted and then these things got added in after. It's like, no, you have to do this all this acting, and there's all these fucking people with their hands up these fucking puppets saying these ridiculous fucking things to you, and you have to be like just reading off fucking Charles Dickens lines. And yeah, he has no problem with it.
Yep, he commits so hard.
does.
It probably looked even weirder, like you were saying, seeing the people actually puppeteering them.
Yeah, because from
As
his angle,
opposed
you
to-
know, you see
You're
like
seeing it everything.
someone up Kermit's ass over here, and the rest of the guy. I imagine he's every now and then he waves at Michael Caine. He's starstruck. Oh, it's Michael Caine.
So it was pretty interesting. So I found on YouTube you can look for like a making of Muppets, behind the scenes, whatever, Christmas Carol, and It's really interesting. It's whatever you picture it's going to be like. It just looks so weird. It just must be such an unnatural environment to act in as an actor. So the fact that Caine gives like an unqualifiedly great performance is just so impressive.
Yeah.
I know we've said that a lot, but it definitely bears repeating.
Mm-hmm. I also like their little scene transition they have here because I forget exactly what happens, but he like starts to like cry and he like puts his head down, but as he puts it down, it lands on his bed.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I like
And
that
he's like-
transition too.
And then I forget exactly what I think he says like, "I'm home. It was all a dream. I have to make Bob get to work."
Which version did you say?
Cut to black.
Cut to black. Yeah, so he does he does the whole Scrooge being super excited.
I'm as
They did
merry
it
as a
all in one night.
schoolboy.
Of course they did. They can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm light as a feather. I'm happy as a schoolboy. Is that what it is? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is weird because we just saw he was not a very happy schoolboy.
Yeah, happy as the
Let's
other
talk about
schoolboys he
himself.
remembers.
Yeah.
Happy as the schoolboys who weren't me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you get the ending of Christmas Carol is always just a real crowd pleaser. Supposed to be just ecstatic. Everyone's really happy and
They got another song in this one too, right?
So
this is a good one too.
This is the Michael Caine song. This is
Yeah.
the one he sings. Where
This is the first time he sings, at all.
Yep. So he goes out his window. He yells at Bean Bunny to. I said like he's his whole life's just changed, but he's still like making a delivery person go get the big turkey so he doesn't have to carry it himself.
Yeah.
I said
He tips well at least.
Yeah, he does. He
Yeah.
does tip well, but yeah,
Tips
even
him a shilling or whatever.
even though he's
Oh,
saved,
5
he's still
shillings,
ordering
nice.
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
So yeah, Gonzo and Rizzo come back and they're like, "Oh, we told you we'd be back." And they're like, we're in front of the window again, but it's fine, right? And it's not fine. They get thrown out the window again.
I noticed in this little ending though, they skipped the scene at Fred's, and I like that when he like kind of shows up, but
Yeah,
he
their
spends
friends
like
in the montage. It's a montage.
yeah, it's like a montage. Like it's
Yeah,
because they have to go through quick.
They didn't do it the way it normally is, where like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that he paid the guy to bring the turkey because he's going and bringing the turkey there anyway. But like normally, what happens is he pays the guy to bring the turkey. He doesn't even go to Bob's house.
He goes to Fred's.
He goes to Fred's
to
house.
finally
Okay.
spend Christmas with Fred.
Which would make more sense.
Yeah, and then the next day, Bob shows up at work and he's a little late and he's like freaking out, and then
Yeah.
Scrooge is there and
Yes.
he's being an asshole to him, and he's like, "I'm gonna raise your salary."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did like slowly reveals like, and I sent you a bird yesterday.
Yeah.
It was me.
It was me the whole time. Yeah.
Well-
Crash is like, I don't know what the hell's going on. You're doing
I
a
like-
weird game.
This version a little bit better because it opens up a big question for me. So obviously, as they do their montage to town singing, they end at the Cratchits, open the door, and he does his same little joke where he pretends that I'm the old Scrooge that I was 5 hours ago, but he's actually the new Scrooge, and he's yelling at Bob about how like, why aren't you at work? And Bob's like, you told me I could have the day off, and he's like, I would never say that. This is gonna be a huge issue. And then Miss Pig runs out and is like, I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. And he's like, I'm gonna raise your salary. I'm paying for your house. And then they're like all happy and thank him. And the whole time, all I can think of is Bob's wife has never met this man before. All she knows is every day Bob comes home and is like, my boss is a fucking dick. He's riding me hard. My job's so tough. You better cook dinner because I'm so exhausted from my boss being such an asshole. The first time she meets his boss, he makes like a funny joke and then like doubles his salary and pays off his house. Does she believe?
Yeah, it's just like you said you were late because your boss is bad every day for years.
Yeah.
The first time I met him, he showed up on Christmas and paid off our house. And like you said, you didn't want to invite him over.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was a talk that happened afterwards.
Or maybe she was like cool about it because obviously there's a lot of, you mentioned questions about the
The fathers.
paternity.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
So it's the eyes that you think?
It has to be the eyes. No one else has his eyes.
Yeah, Kermit's eyes have to be like a dominant gene.
So wait,
right?
there's a
Right.
different frog?
That's. I mean,
Yeah, it's the
that's-
guy from Fred's.
It could be. That's the only other frog that I saw.
I mean,
That's my
Robin
guess.
is like a darker green than Kermit, so
True.
kind of like the monster guy from Friends.
Yeah.
That's a connection. It could be.
The more I think about it now, I would have been way happier if the 4 kids were each like half frog, half pig.
How would you have done it though? How do you imagine them looking?
I imagine
Horrific.
like
Pig
like
nose,
patches.
frog head. Yeah.
No, like one eye is like
Oh, Jesus Christ.
like Frankenstein monsters.
yeah, it looks just like a Frankenstein where like they've been sewn together randomly.
Just this is not supposed to happen, but it just happened.
Makes sense that poor Tiny Tim's all messed up.
No wonder.
Yeah, they're all like that.
Tiny Tim has
It's
his little
going
crutch
like,
because
"Kill me,
he has like
please."
he has one full frog leg and a pig leg, and his big leg's too short, so he's just crutch.
Well, that's horrific.
If only we had enough money for Tiny Tim's surgery, and then like after Scrooge comes and gives him money, like Tiny Tim has 2 frog legs after that.
Oh, yeah, they just have to replace his whole leg.
Yeah. And Cratchit's missing a leg now. And he's got a.
So you guys like Michael Caine's song?
It was good.
Oh yeah, that slap.
Oh, okay.
With
So, all right, I have
a joyful heart or whatever.
another problem with this whole like montage thing that happens real quick.
And another
Oh
thing.
wait, no, this isn't a problem. You're gonna like this one.
So it happens real quick, right? He goes to Fred's, and on his way between Fred's house and Cratchit's house, he stops and he visits Fozziwig and Sam the Professor, who apparently are old and live together now. No explanation for that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's efficient. Well, no, they don't live together. They're in like a home for elderly people.
Together.
Right? Yeah, that's the home for elderly people in the area.
Wait, how do you know it's a home for elderly people?
Context clues.
They're both
You think
rich.
they're
They're
lovers?
old
Like, what do you think? Like,
No, I thought they were just like, yeah, we need them together. They live together now.
I
They're
assume
roommates.
it's like a home.
They live a block away from Scrooge. He's never seen him.
Yeah, he's not one for visiting.
Wait, who are the characters that are together? It's Fozzie.
Fozzie.
Fozziwig
and
and the headmaster.
The headmaster from his school.
Oh, I could see them being a couple.
Yeah, they live together.
Yeah, I don't think Sam Eagle's down for that. And even
It just doesn't
real
make any. I don't know.
Eagle man.
Like they clearly didn't know each other back. In
I
the
think they're
past.
just both at the same place. It's been like 50 years. They could have hung out since then.
No.
All right, well.
It makes no sense.
I thought it was really funny.
It was funny because
Yeah.
it happened so fast. And Greg and I were like, wait.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are just
What
looking
did
for
we just
things to
see?
complain about.
We also really like that. That's one stop because he stops at basically every house in town, does something nice for him, and then they come out and join in his song.
He finally gives cheese to the mice.
Yes.
Who earlier said no cheeses for the Mises.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And is Scrooge a landlord in this one? I feel like they say
He I think he owns like mortgages, right?
Yeah.
I assume.
Property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they say something about in the first song about like how shitty his properties are or something like that.
I think he sells the houses and then collects on the mortgages.
Yeah, okay.
I
that
don't
makes
think he's
sense, yeah.
renting.
Yeah. But we really
But maybe
like
he
that.
is, I don't know.
He goes door to door. He goes to Fred's. They all come out into the streets to join his song, and they end the parade at Bob the Cratchit's house. But they all come in for Christmas dinner.
I was gonna
He's
say
like,
that-
everybody get in here, and like the Cratchits have no choice in the matter because he just doubled
No.
his salary, paid his house.
You're like,
This is
okay.
basically Scrooge's house.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm inviting my friends to your house and you're hosting.
Yeah, you know, I was like, I brought a turkey. It's uncooked. It's a 50-pound turkey. Good luck.
We're gonna wait 6 hours while you cook this.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Cooking
Get
that
Tiny
back
Tim
then
on the
too.
spit rotation duty because like
But obviously, they have to be happy as can be. He just paid off their house. You know, doubled Bob's.
yeah,
salary.
he's like, this is the cost. Once a week, I'm bringing the whole town here. You have to cook a
Like I'm gonna lose
50-pound
out money on
turkey.
this deal.
Like, I
How
don't
much
know,
coal I'm
man.
gonna need?
We're gonna need a bigger stove, I guess.
Yeah.
So one note as the montage is happening, one thing that didn't, even occur to me, he goes to his office and to each of the bookkeepers, he leaves coal because earlier he won't let them use coal to turn the heat up in the
Yep.
place. I guess a lot of kids were confused about what they had done wrong that they were getting coal for Christmas.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Oh,
Yes.
I guess I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, I've never even thought about that, but yeah, it's in like the audio commentary on some release version of the movie by Brian Henson, where he's like, yeah, we never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never occurred to us that kids would be confused that they were getting cold for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I like that montage a lot. It's a fun song. Everyone's joining in. It's an echo of the beginning of the movie where everyone's following him to tell him how shitty he is. And now he's leading everyone around town in a sort of merriment parade. He meets up with Honeydew and Beaker. Beaker gives him that dope red scarf. Everyone who's watching the movie at this point in tears, just like them at the end of that Not song in Christmas Past. Cool looking scarf. It's nice against his like black stuff, that pop of red. It's great.
Yeah.
Scarf.
Yeah. I like the ending a lot. Like I said, they managed to
So
squeeze in another song, and once again, it's fire.
Yep.
I think the only song that I didn't love in this one was when I think it's Christmas Present at Bob Cratchit's house. They sing something. It's kind of slow.
God blesses all, everyone. Yeah.
I think
it
so.
goes, that one's maybe the longest remaining in the movie, or at least feels like it because it's not as...
The rest of the songs are like
Manic,
upbeat and
yeah.
kind of like, faster paced. And that one's just kind of slow. And
it's
So you wouldn't have liked the ballad then.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
have,
you
to be
probably would
honest.
have.
Yeah, it's kind of just...
I think it was good, but
Yeah, you're right. There's not like a lot of action, just a family that's like getting ready for dinner, right?
Yeah. But yeah, this one in the end, another one that's fire. So
And then it ends. Tiny Tim, who did not die. That's one of probably my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah.
Gonzo's delivery on Tiny Tim, who did not die. I guess ever. And yeah, he says, God bless us all. And then I think Scrooge steals the line, right? Scrooge says, God bless us all, everyone.
I think so. I
Supposed to be Tim, I think.
I saved your
when you-
life, kid. I'm taking your line.
It's my line now.
My
It was
house,
part
my
of the
line.
mortgage agreement.
when you mentioned that Tiny Tim did not die ever, I just always laugh. I think it's like this in basically every version of A Christmas Carol. But when the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come points at the grave, and Scrooge like wipes it off, and it's got his name on it, he's like, "No, please, I can change it. I can change this. Don't make this like this can't be or something." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Scrooge. There's nothing. You are gonna die eventually. Like you're pretty old. Like what do you mean you want me to not have a gravestone? Like or you want a different gravestone? Like your name's gonna be on one.
Yeah, it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
I've got bad news, man.
Well, I guess it's just confirmation that he was the dude that he's been showing him all the crappy
Yeah.
things. But yeah, no, you're not wrong.
It would have been
It's like,
funny
I
if
mean,
he-
you're already pretty old, but
Yeah, you're
like,
pretty old, right?
You should have picked a plot by now. Like,
It would have been funny if he couldn't read.
what
Eisenhower screws.
Eisenhower screws.
Oh, it sucks for this guy.
Yeah, this guy sprung for the cheap etching. Clearly.
I noticed
The ghost Chris Preston's just like he doesn't have a forehead, but he just like puts his head in his hands. And,
Goes through his face.
I'm gonna have to show him. I'm gonna have to show him the corpse.
all right,
There's never been a version of this movie where I've had to show the corpse, but this is it.
We're doing it.
and it's just a
Give me the shovel.
I don't know, it's some kind of skeleton spirit. I don't know what you want me to get out of this. Yeah, it's all been real spooky. Now it's a skeleton, I guess. I don't
Is it
know.
Halloween?
He's wearing my clothes.
This skeleton's a thief.
Wait, you're telling me skeletons come to life at night and steal people's clothes? I guess that's scary, but I don't see what it has to do with the rest of tonight's activities.
He just like kills him with a shovel or something.
It's like, all right, screw it. This is supposed to be the future, but get in. Just get in. It's over. He just starts talking. He just goes, okay, screw you, buddy. I tried.
I actually like watched some of the credits for this one too. I forgot what it was. I think I noticed like each person who was credited had like there was like 5 names for every
Sure.
one name.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to get into the sort of like ephemera around the movie? This is probably the first episode in quite a while where we've actually kind of gone like beat through the actual plot of the movie. But to get into that kind of stuff, yeah, most of the Muppeteers do multiple characters.
Yeah, I noticed that. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, it must be hard to find like puppeteers. And then
Yeah.
the first thing I realized too as I was looking at the names was that some of them are puppeteers for the Sesame Street characters too. I was like, wow, it's real hard to find puppeteers. You got one puppeteer. He's 15 he's like 15 characters.
Yeah.
So there's a decent amount of original Henson guys in this movie. So, I mean, first and foremost, you got Frank Oz, who's playing Fozzie, Miss Piggy. He plays Sam Eagle and Animal. For you children's show people, he is also the original Cookie Monster, Bert and Grover.
Oh.
And then obviously he also is Yoda. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, Frank
He just
Oz.
puppets everybody.
Wow.
Frank Oz also like a really successful director outside of Henson stuff. He directed a couple of the Muppet movies, but not this one. So yeah, Frank Oz still working too. He put out a really interesting movie last year called In and of Itself. That was a movie version of a live performance from Derek Delgaudio. Not really related to Muppets even a little bit, but really cool. I think it was on Hulu. Check it out. Dave Goelz is in this too. He's Gonzo, the OG Gonzo. Jerry Nelson, like you said, the Christmas present guy. He also plays Robin, who's Tiny Tim. He plays Lou Zealand, which I put in here because Lou Zealand is the best name of any Muppet. He's in like the background at some point. He's the guy with the big fish.
Don't even remember him.
Yeah.
And he was also the original Count on Sesame Street and Snuffleupagus.
Oh.
So yeah,
So he knows how to puppet big puppets.
yeah. They originally, so Scooter's also a main Muppet, especially early. But the guy who played Scooter died earlier in 1992. He was already sick when they were filming, so that's why there's no Scooter in this movie. Originally, it was supposed to be established Muppets as past, present, and future. I think it was either Robin or Scooter supposed to be past. I think Piggy was supposed to be present. And then it was supposed to be Gonzo with like a big hood, but just his nose sticking out
Oh,
as
that would've
Ghost
been
of
funny.
Christmas yet to come.
That would have been really funny.
And then they decided to, recast. That was before they had decided to put a Dickens character in. They wanted it to be Gonzo because he was the least likely to be Dickens of their established characters. But yeah, so a lot of people playing multiple roles. We should also mention this is the first movie that Steve Whitmire plays Kermit in, because Jim Henson dies in 1990. This is the first production after that. And Whitmire's in there. Whitmire was already a Henson guy. He'd been playing Rizzo since the 80s, I think. He still plays Rizzo in this one. Then he's also Kermit.
That's a big promotion.
It's a huge promotion.
It is.
You used to just have a pizza place. Now you have
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Whitmire is a kind of interesting dude. He says that he was really nervous about doing Kermit, as like anyone would be, as the guy after Jim Henson. And he says the day before production, he had a dream where he met Jim Henson in a hotel lobby and he gave him permission to be Kermit. That's what Steve Whitmire says. So
It's a good way to.
so then he was
justify
like, well, he said it's cool, so I'm going for it.
it.
Yeah. You might remember just a few years ago. So he was Kermit from before I was born until 2016. And at that point, there was like a big dust up between him and the Henson family, and he was fired essentially. The Walt Disney Company cited unacceptable business conduct as the reason for the dismissal. Well, Whitmire claims the decision was made due to creative disagreements over Kermit's characterization and also prolonged labor negotiations. Over the course of, especially towards that latter end of his tenure as Kermit, he had a lot of critics, especially from the Henson family, that he made Kermit like too flat and too wholesome. Jim Henson Kermit was kind of like neurotic and could kind of, get angry and stuff. But
Kermit gets angry.
You're right. Yeah. Whitmire, who was Kermit for pretty much all of our lives until just a few years ago. His version of Kermit's just kind of like a wholesome, cool guy who just hangs around.
Yeah. That's what I always think of him as.
Right. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. That's what he's been the whole time we've been alive. So
Yeah.
I think I said that earlier. Then I thought he was just wholesome. And I wanted to
Yeah.
hug him.
Yeah.
So they had disagreement. When I heard disagreements about the Kermit character, I immediately was like, he figured out about the kids.
he knows. He knows too much.
He's just watching the Christmas Carol one day. Wait a minute. Pauses the movie, zooming in on the eyes.
Damn.
I'm not these kids' fucking father.
Yeah. It's like a life crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Identity crisis.
So yeah, current Kermit's Matt Vogel. He also is Big Bird right now. I'm sure he does other stuff too, but those are the big ones that he does right now. Yeah. So does that answer your question about puppets?
Yeah. One more puppet question.
Oh, okay.
Why is Sesame Street so much better?
I don't know if we want to get to that yet. I disagree.
I don't know if we have time.
But
I
I
feel
think
like that
I think it's because you
is
have
another podcast.
a young child and it's geared towards them.
Oh, maybe it's that. Okay.
And a lot of people watched it as a young kid. And Muppet, especially Muppet Show heyday, was before we were alive.
So-
Probably.
I thought it just had something to do with quality, but
I mean, I just said it's basically the same people doing both. So
Sesame Street is better. The whole time I was watching, I was like, man, Gonzo's not as good as Grover.
I think this is actually the first movie, the first like Muppet movie that doesn't have any Sesame Street characters in it. It's usually a lot more of a, or I guess a lot less of a hard line, and because they're all Muppets, so they can intermingle. And I think Big Bird's in the Muppet, like the main Muppet movie from back in the day too. And stuff.
Interesting.
what's up with Gonzo's? What is Gonzo? What's up with his nose?
Yeah, I don't
knew you were
know.
gonna mention
That's just
that.
what this is what Gonzo looks like.
It's not his fault.
What do you want? That's what Gonzo looks like.
He has
He's a
weird dick on his
monster.
face.
he's,
But he likes chickens. I don't know.
he's a little creepy,
There's a problem with
He's a
him.
little creepy.
but he's a
Gonzo's-
good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a stuntman. He's the great Gonzo.
Oh man.
It's Gonzo. What
Yeah.
Okay.
do you want?
This is it. That's enough.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, overall, I am happy with the movie.
It was good. It's a
Yeah,
good
I
movie.
really enjoyed it. The Muppets didn't detract that much from it.
Not that much.
No, it was a really good version of A Christmas Carol. The songs made it way
Yeah.
better. Michael Caine was phenomenal. He was very enjoyable. He made the movie, and I think Gonzo's narration made it a lot better too. Having parts of the book be read to me, which is great because I won't read books.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
They just
I
have like an
don't know
audiobook
about
every
that.
now and then.
Yeah, an audiobook, and I got a little piece of it from Gonzo.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to start telling our toddler that like Muppets are friends with Elmo. Maybe we should watch it.
I bet you they should buy that.
Maybe.
I'm sure I've mentioned this before because for some reason we talk about Muppets on like every freaking episode. I think that's going to end now that we've done this one. I hope not. I like Muppets, but we shouldn't talk about Muppets every episode.
Stop bringing them up so
It
much.
seems weird. I can't stop. It's awful. I'm just possessed by Muppets. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. We should talk a little bit about the way they film Muppet movies even today is there's a raised floor that the humans stand on, and then the Muppet performers are either crouched down under it or on, I think today a lot of what they do with Sesame Street, especially is they're sitting on those little like, sort of just like a square with wheels that were called like scooters when we were in elementary school. When I was, at least, they called them scooters. Like, it's not really. And they sit on those things and sort of just slide around and puppet that way. And yeah, with this though, they had to build huge sets. In any of the movies, they build huge sets, and they're kind of like planks that the human characters have to walk along, which just makes Kane's performance even more impressive to me, that he's pretty much trying not to fall into a big hole the whole time he's acting at the same time.
He's also an acrobat.
Yeah. And there's like
That's
a lot of
impressive.
scenes that there's walking and
He's a lot of movement.
yeah, there's a lot of movement. He's not just staying in place. So.
Yeah.
I know. Cool movie. Hard to make Muppet movies.
This one holds up.
I think so too.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I still was crushed by some parts, which was great. You know, there was just these weird felt creatures saying stuff to me.
It's good to feel things. I agree.
Yeah.
Try my hardest not to.
So Brian Henson is, I think, only like 29 when he directs this movie, taking over for his dad. He'd been growing up in the Muppet Factory or the whole time, so he'd done a lot of performances before. He's in that weird Wizard of Oz adaptation, playing the pumpkin guy. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough specifics. You can figure, if you want to know what any of that is, you can Google it.
Wait,
and
his
figure it out.
dad was a Muppeteer too?
His dad's Jim Henson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, okay. That makes sense.
Yep. So he directs this, then he directs Muppet Treasure Island, and then, according to what I looked up, he doesn't direct another movie until 2018's Razzie Award-winning Happy Time Murders, which you might remember
Oh yeah.
as the that kind of terrible-looking Melissa McCarthy comedy that Sesame Street sued.
Oh,
So-
oh.
They sued?
Mhm.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, the Sesame Company sued because the tagline was like "No Sesame, all street."
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
That was the tagline. I don't
Yeah.
know how I remember that.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
Yeah.
it's a good tagline, but
Yeah.
for what is apparently a bad movie. I haven't seen it, so grain of salt. But people
looked bad.
really didn't like it when it came out.
Mhm.
People seem to really hate it, and it did win Razzies, which sometimes those are pretty, cynical, but maybe were earned in this case. He's the chairman of the Henson Company. Him and his sister run it. She's the president and CEO, and they're doing Muppet stuff still. I don't know. Any other ephemera that we should hit on before we just go to the next stage of the podcast?
Nothing I can think of. I hit all my stuff that
Yeah.
I wanted.
I wanted to talk about German Expressionism, but it feels like we've gone on long enough.
German Expressionism. All right, that'll have to be an offline topic.
Just in the kind of art of the way the city looks, and then especially the Ghost of Christmas yet to come. It's kind of German Expressionist. And then I also put under that Boss Baby meme. Guy has only seen Boss Baby watching his second movie. Getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this. I haven't seen that many German Expressionist films, but I was getting a lot of German Expressionist vibes from this. In college, I had to watch Nosferatu and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Sunrise, A Song of Two Souls, which is a fucking awesome movie, by the way. So yeah, getting a lot of German Expressionist vibes from the way the city looks in this. That's it.
I like German Expressionism. I have a German Expressionism painting in my bathroom. You'll have to check it
cool.
out next time
Yeah.
you're up there.
Yeah.
What is the painting?
It's it's a fox. You'll see. It's
Okay.
yeah,
That's awesome. I'll check that fox out.
yeah.
Also, Christmas Carol. Why did we have to see this so much when we were in school? I feel like it was like elementary
It's like
school,
the
middle
approved
school.
one. I personally appreciate that sort of like the biggest Christmas story is about ghosts. I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't know why this is the canon, good for kids to see, okay for schools to be like, this is also schoolwork.
It's got Muppets in it.
Yeah. Why? Why this though?
Specifically this one or just Christmas Carol in
Christmas
general?
Carol in general.
Yeah, because I know there's like a ton of like local productions all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah. I don't know.
It appeals to kids. They
In my
enjoy it.
defense, I don't think I went to see it during school.
I did.
I've definitely seen it.
I saw it as a play. I've seen it as a movie. Granted, I went to a bad school system.
Wait, didn't we go to the same school?
Him? No, he's from Berkeley.
No, you. Didn't
As
you?
me? What do you mean?
I went to see it in Somerset
What?
in middle school.
Maybe we did. Like I said, I went to see it at Trinity every year anyway, so it might have just blended in.
Okay, yeah, they took us to Trinity to see it.
Okay, it probably just blended in.
hmm
Yeah.
I think they took us like twice.
And I guess I went twice that year too, because I went individually and then also with school.
hmm
That feels more familiar now. Was it one of the okay, yeah. It was like that particular performance was just for schools.
Maybe.
I think it was just the only other kids there because they were like, we can't subject the general public to a bunch of kids sitting in one spot for an hour.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
So even though you hate Muppets, you still like the movie.
Yeah, I still enjoyed the movie, even
I
though
don't-
I'm not a big fan of Muppets.
And because of how specific this is, with it being a Michael Caine movie, really, and the Muppets being supporting characters, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend other Muppet movies to you, but I think Muppets Most Wanted is a little underrated. That's the last theatrically released Muppet movie.
Is that with Jason Segel?
It's the one after the Siegel one.
Oh, okay.
That one's pretty good too, but there's a lot of Jason Segel in it.
I feel like I saw it. I think
Which-
I might have
Jason
seen
Segel.
that.
I like Jason Segel too,
Yeah.
but it's a Muppet movie. I want to see the Muppets.
I got you.
Opposite.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's that kind of thing that like all Muppet productions have been about in the last 10 years or so, where basically the Muppets are old and divorced and unhappy and like someone's got to be like, don't forget you're the Muppets, people like you, and that's like what that's what the Jason Segel movie's about.
Oh.
And then the
Yeah.
like the ABC show was about that too.
Yeah, they got divorced? Or do you mean...
Well, they
like-
weren't ever married. It's just that energy. Like the ABC show is it's post Kermit and Piggy's
about
breakup.
the kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, did they say it?
Pretty much, yeah. All that to say, Muppets Most Wanted is just like a normal Muppet adventure movie that isn't about how sad the Muppets are.
Okay.
Which, again, is one of the Henson's family's main complaint about how Whitmire did Kermit, is that he was really sad all the time. You guys want to play a game?
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Cool. So, it's kind of like Greg's Nightmare, I guess. So, like Muppet Christmas Carol, but every story is a Muppet story. I call it, instead of the Muppet Christmas Carol, it's the Muppet Monomyth because of alliteration. I'll describe the plot of the film replacing characters with Muppets. You have to guess the movie.
Oh man.
I have 8. I numbered them this time, so I knew how many there was. There's 3 people, so, you know.
Do we wait till the end of the description, then just say it?
I think because it's like, well, if you get it before someone else, maybe that's how it is. If you get it before someone else, or we can work out a system where
No, just yell it as soon as you know.
It just
Right.
mid, even if you're like
We
halfway
need like
through
taboo buzzers.
I know we
it.
almost
Oh,
need
yeah.
Mm.
We could raise our
Or
hand.
just just raise your hand.
Okay.
That way you can finish the description.
raise your hand. We'll all agree who raised their hand first, and then we'll go from there.
All right. That sounds fair.
It's effective in a podcast to pick a visual based.
Well,
No, because now we won't.
You'll have to trust
viewers
us.
won't have his description interrupted.
We'll describe in excruciating detail how everyone looks as it's happening.
Great.
Okay. Perfect.
Number 1. Miss Piggy avenges the death of Ralph the dog by karate chopping legions of Russian mobsters on her path to a final duel with the mob boss. Hee-yah! Miss Piggy says that a lot, so I just wanted to throw that in there. I think Greg had his hand raised first.
John Wick.
It is John Wick. Greg has 1 point.
Never seen it, but I knew it was something about a dog.
Oh, they're not Muppet like puns for names.
No, it's not. So this is the first one I did, and I did write John Pig, and then I didn't do it for anything else. I couldn't make it work. And then I ran out of time.
Okay.
In this 2020 film, Scooter lives in a pineapple under the sea and teams up with his best friend Lou Zealand in order to find his missing pet. You need the full name.
Oh.
I didn't even know there was one that came out in 2020.
It was a launch title on the Paramount Plus streaming service. Surprisingly well reviewed when it came out.
Man, I'm not gonna know the full
I don't
name.
know.
No idea.
I mean,
but does everyone have
it's SpongeBob.
It's SpongeBob, but I
movie.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run?
Oh, I wouldn't guess
that does sound familiar.
Since no one got it, but everyone got half of it, you can all have half a point. Since everyone gets it, it's there's no difference.
Okay.
So I don't know if you just feel better. If you
I
get
do
half
feel
feel
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take half a point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Half, 1.5. My left or right doesn't matter on the podcast. Kermit is a computer hacker who, while pursued by an agent played by Sam Eagle,
Oh, you beat me.
discovers that the world he thought he knew doesn't actually exist with some help from a sage mentor played by the Swedish chef. Greg beat Noah by like half of a
Keep
second.
my hand on the table.
The Matrix.
It's The Matrix.
You could have done the Mupp tricks or something.
Let's pretend I did the Mupp tricks.
Okay.
Do you get extra points if you say the name as a pun?
Yes.
That's the rule.
We're not
Half a
playing
point.
for any
Half a
other.
point.
So,
Half
yeah.
a point. We started, yeah.
So does Noah
just,
get half a point for that one?
Yes.
Thank you, Ray.
Noah's at a full point. Greg's at 2.5. Ray's at half.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Piggy, again, because there just aren't that many female Muppets, pilots a public transport vehicle above a specific speed while Scooter kind of just stands there. Go for it.
Speed?
It is Speed.
I can't come up with a Muppet
No,
pun.
that's a tough one. It's just one word.
In your round table, if anyone comes up with one, yeah. Just one word.
Swede.
And the villain's the Swedish chef.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of phone calls between
Give her the half.
But you can't
Scooter
really hear
and
what
the
he's
Swedish
saying.
chef.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to give him the directions.
Yeah.
But he's just saying,
No.
Scooter's like, I don't know how fast we have to go.
The thing just blows up with like 10 seconds.
It's a very short movie in this version of it. Oh man,
I would love to see that like cut as just like a YouTube video or something.
that's really good. Okay, in this 2019 movie, pretty recently, that went I think direct to Netflix, Fozzie stars as the host of a cable access show who is sent on an adventure by Will Ferrell, playing himself, to awkwardly interview celebrities across the country in order to get his own late night talk show. Noah's on it.
I don't know if Between Two Ferns.
The movie, yes.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Anyone got a pun?
I'm thinking I got nothing though.
Between two Kerms.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's the
That was a
one.
good one. Yeah,
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
between two curves.
Between two Kerms.
This is a
That's
weird. I'm not gonna lie. This is a weird adult film.
Anyway.
Starring Miss Pig.
Miss Piggy stars at Miss Pig.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. I wanted to see this one, not so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Start doing some.
Noah's
Kermit
got 3 points.
stuff, but I'm not going to do that.
Ray's at
So 1.5
1.5
points.
points.
I'm at 2.5.
You're at 2.5. In this most recent sequel in a major franchise, Gonzo teams up with an old girlfriend, played by Camilla the Chicken, in order to rescue a new friend and ultimately has to say goodbye to his oldest friend, Rizzo.
Oh,
Is it Transformers?
It is not Transformers. You lose all your points. I wrote that.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I
I'll get
just
him
think
back.
it's funny if we keep making up rules.
Wait, read it again.
Whoever
read it,
gets
yeah.
it right takes race points.
read it again. Read it again. Read it
There's a
again.
lot happening.
I
in
didn't know
this.
there was so much at stake.
No, I'm kidding. That doesn't happen. Yeah, there's a lot happening. In this most recent sequel in a major franchise, Gonzo teams up with an old girlfriend, played by Camilla the Chicken, in order to rescue a new friend and ultimately has to say goodbye to his oldest friend, Rizzo.
What was the? Did you give us the year?
2019.
He has to rescue the new friend with his girlfriend, his previous
Yes.
girlfriend.
Yep.
There's too many friendships in here. I felt like I had it, and now I'm not sure.
It's almost like I said friend a lot.
No, I don't got it.
Yeah, I give up.
It's animated.
Oh,
Do you guys want more hints or do you...
maybe. Wait, it's animated.
A 2019 animated sequel from a major film franchise.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah,
It's Toy Story 4.
it is Toy Story 4,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it was that recent? Wow.
2019. Anyone got a pun for Toy Story 4?
um,
Toy Story Foz? Is that anything?
I guess that'd be the closest one.
It's the closest we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know enough of the names of the
I was gonna say I don't know the
Yeah.
Muppets well enough. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Okay,
close game.
two to go. Noah's got 3. Ray's got 2. Greg's got 2. Sorry, Noah's got 3. Ray's got 2.5. Greg's got 2.5. Statler and Waldorf travel through time to assemble and then heckle a roster of historical figures for a class presentation.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes. I guess it's not exactly a pun, but putting Statler and Waldorf in the title, I guess, would be.
Yeah.
Excellent Adventure, yeah.
Greg was second, and you probably would have gotten it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got too slow. Noah beat me by a lot.
Yeah.
So Noah's up by 1.5 points. So you need to get
To
this
win it
next one
and also
right
get the
and
pun.
get a good pun.
Oh, I got this easy. Shoot.
Ready? Miss Piggy and Kermit begin a courtship through an unusual form of correspondence while staying at the same house.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Ray was there first.
Yeah, you got
Is
it.
it the lake house?
It's the lake house, and you need to come up with a good pun before anyone else.
Oh no!
Noah can win, can lock in the win with a good pun.
I feel like there's not enough good Muppet names.
There's not. No, she doesn't have it.
The Mies Mouse.
No. That's
No, no.
Enjoy second place.
And don't forget, Sesame Street characters are also Muppets.
Oh, are they?
The lake, the lake Grouch. That's the best I got.
Yeah.
They put envelopes in Oscar's trash can. So it's the late Grouch.
Oh, that's not bad.
Between two
not
Kerms was the best.
Yeah, that was,
It
that
all
was a
went
good
down-
one.
I went downhill from that's what we get for improvising a game mechanic.
Putting letters in Oscar's trash can sounds like some kind of Academy Awards thing.
Yeah. So Noah finishes with 4 points.
Think so.
Ray with 3.5. Greg with 2.5. I did right here. You get 5 bonus points for identifying the theme of the answers.
Oh.
It was a secret. It was a secret 5 bonus points, but since no one already did it, I'll tell you now it's not a secret.
The theme of the answers?
Yep, they're all in a very specific theme.
Oh.
Give some time to our listeners to figure it out.
Okay.
It's not that abstract or esoteric.
No idea.
Are they all? Wait.
I know we mentioned Lake House, but I don't think it was on the podcast.
No, that's not it.
They're not all. Yeah, it's not about the podcast.
You reimagined all of them as Muppets.
I was going to say, all the characters could have been played by Muppets.
Part of this test.
No, I can't get it.
So I think that's the time limit. No one got that. Keanu Reeves is in all those movies.
He's in Toy Story 4?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
did
was
notice
gonna
that he
say-
was in Speed and
He's in
in
SpongeBob?
He was in SpongeBob?
Bill and
Yeah,
Ted.
it's literally his head in a CGI movie.
And Lake House?
He stars
Well,
in Lake House.
I didn't see that. I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah.
All these other things I could get, but Lake House.
That
It's like
movie
he's
I
on the
didn't
poster
see. He
for
was
that.
in
one.
it.
He plays like a tumbleweed in the SpongeBob movie, but it's literally just his head inside a tumbleweed.
Oh, that's
Not even CGI. It's just like a live action Keanu
What
Reeves.
was he in
head.
Toy Story 4?
pretty fantastic.
He's the Daredevil, like Evil Knievel guy.
No, is he?
Yeah.
I was going to say Keanu because Matrix and Speed, but
Yeah, so I figured that it was, and he's like one of the celebrity
Bill and
interviews in
Ted's.
between two Kerms, but
oh,
it's
I didn't realize that.
yep. But I figured like between John Wick and Speed,
Oh, and John Wick. Yeah.
The Matrix, someone might be like, I don't know, was Keanu Reeves?
Throw
in all
this
of
one
that?
out
Yeah,
there.
It was so
John
long
Wick and
ago.
Matrix was two of the questions.
Oh, sorry.
So
Oh,
it's
it's
like-
okay.
Yeah, that was like the beginning.
That's why I did it at the
moved on.
beginning.
Moved on.
Moved on.
Well done.
Good. So congrats, Noah, on your big win.
Woohoo.
Thank you guys so much for being on. You can follow us on late to the movies _podcast on Instagram. You can go to the T Public store, just search Late to the Movies and buy 17 shirts. Yeah, thank you, Noah, Ray, Greg. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Oh,
you.
no problem. Thanks.
Oh, I wasn't recording.